You're listening to DraftKings Network.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
The lighting is incredible.
Yes.
Like the way the background is in shadow, but you're lit.
Yeah. Do I look soft, pretty, young, and sexy?
Sure.
Okay, that's the filter I put on.
All those adjectives.
Yeah. Got to keep up with those TikTokers, you know?
Is your husband annoyed by your job yet? I mean...
Yes.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a meltdown last night around midnight. It's getting really bad here. Plus the Eagles suck.
Dianna Russini on with us, as she likes to do occasionally. It's nice to see you, Dianna. It's always nice to see you. She's the NFL insider, senior NFL insider for The Athletic.
I'd like to know what that meltdown looks like.
Yeah, let's not do that. Let's leave that alone, unless Dianna is willing to go even further than we've already gone.
Yeah, look, here's the best thing about being a NFL reporter is I can just poke holes in all his joy, happiness, and optimism about his team. So I just stand there and I was like, oh, the Giants beat the Eagles. And I just harp on all the weaknesses that they have on offense right now and some of the issues I've seen in the secondary for Philadelphia while he's arguing with me that he thinks that I have not really done a good job on the mothering side of my responsibilities. For example, yesterday, there was a really big story that broke and my sons are both sick. So they're home with me and my parents are also sick, so they couldn't help. And I had to put a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old in a playpen, which if anyone has small children, putting 2 young boys in a playpen that's, maybe 5 feet wide isn't safe. It's not smart. And after a while, they're going to start beating the hell out of each other. And that's what happened. And I got the story, and that's all that matters, guys.
Diana, I was going to say putting them in a playpen in some states is actually legalized gambling. You can put money on that and see who comes out on top. But I wanted to ask you, have you ever used non-public information to poke holes in your husband's kind of NFL joy? So not something that's already been reported, but so he's about to leave, right? Or
just make it up, right?
Are you kidding? I try to get more information out of the Philadelphia organization for my marriage than anything for The Athletic. And I am comfortable admitting that. I will take as much, and they know that. The Eagles know I don't report anything on them, but in my kitchen, that's everywhere. And it gets me out of all the things that I'm supposed to probably do as a loving, supportive wife. But this is the time of year, guys, where we really had this fight last night where it doesn't matter how good your relationship is. It does not matter how much help you have. It does not matter how much money you have going on. The stress and pressure that we're both under with our careers and having 2 small young children, you break. You just crack. And the only person you can take it out on is your significant other. So, I'm really fortunate actually that I have someone that does not care what I think or say. Like, he's amazing. I see the meanest things, which I'm sure shocks you guys. Like, my tongue is it is my biggest flaw. And I say the meanest stuff. And he wakes up and he's like, "You want to have coffee?" I'm like, "Sure." So it works. But this is the time of year where my marriage is always really tested. And I'm lucky I got a really good partner. But I mean, the Eagles are still struggling.
I do want to get serious for a second on what you just said, because that's an amazing understanding to have from somebody. The job, I mean, I talk all the time about how the job is crazy, but Dianna, you doing that job, the way you just described it, were you talking to Derrick Henry seconds after Vrabel had been fired when that was happening? Like, is that what was happening around you? And putting a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old, or just trying to corral them in general, makes it crazy on steroids.
Yeah, and you don't know when news is going to break. So you have to quickly make decisions. And obviously the priority is the safety of your children, right? So you have to quickly go, what is the best situation I can put them in while this is all happening? So yesterday, the picture you just painted is exactly what happened yesterday. I was on the phone with Derrick actually when the story broke, and he was calling me to just find out if I knew anything. And I said, I don't. And then I got the text, and I was like, oh my God. And I just put the phone down. I said, just sit there. I have to tweet. And in the room next to me, my boys were watching this show called Miss Rachel. And if you had a toddler, you know what Miss Rachel is. And, she's going through the alphabet. And by the way, that sound is also very distracting and annoying. And by the way, I'm not asking for sympathy. Every parent is dealing with this. It's just the rush of it all, the adrenaline that I'm managing, and then the responsibility to be accurate, and then also to have communication with people. That's another really frustrating part of this. Like, I don't know when Joey's going to cry. And sometimes he cries when I'm on the phone with people. And it happened the other day. And the person I was on the phone with was giving me really good information that I'm going to wind up probably use on Thursday or Friday this week. And I'm like, you have to laugh. Like, I can't believe this is my life. I am going to be part of a really big news cycle right now, while my 1-year-old's screaming his head off because he just wants his bottle that fell under the table. Like, just go get it. He's also not walking. He's 15 months. That's another issue we're dealing with.
It's a little bit crazy, all of it, right? So you have career upheaval at the same time. The serious part I wanted to talk to you about love is you get married, you have 2 kids, you have now motherhood, and you're trying to have your priorities, but the priority is, I'm talking to Derrick Henry and I've got to tweet this. The health of your children is supposed to be the priority, but there's also something.
Man, they're fine. Dianna, let me tell you, I got 3 kids. Let me tell you right now, they're fine. They are so incredibly resilient. You think like, oh my God.
Mansplain to her how it is to have kids be an NFL insider.
Mansplaining, Dan. This is like when Stugotz was telling me about things in the future, because me and Stugotz both have twins. Just when you're a young parent, like, sometimes these things seem so overwhelming, and you need the old vets to let you know, like, it's fine, don't worry about it. So, Dianna, you're doing a great job. You're doing an awesome job. I want to let you know, Dan is trying to shame you for trying to have a work-life balance. Your work-life balance is
I am not trying to shame her. I want to talk to her about love and her husband, because that sharp tongue, I would imagine, would be something that would be hard to manage if he didn't understand you entirely.
It's understanding me, but it's understanding the NFL. I've always said that my relationship does not work because my husband has unconditional love for me and understands how my brain operates, how my soul is invigorated by all of this. It's 100% because he is a bigger, better football person than I am. So he gets why it's important I need to take a call or add some texture to a story that's happening in the moment. In fact, he constantly weighs in, like, did you ask this person this? So it's almost like having, yes, he's my husband and partner in life, but it's like having a producer at times just in my ear. And that's such a big compliment to you guys that work behind the scenes, because I know that you're the brains behind the operation. That's probably the situation in my household. So it helps that he gets it and he loves it. So that's how we have figured out how to make this work. Now, if you told me 5 years ago, 7 years ago, whenever I met him, that one of the important characteristics that I should probably be looking for in someone was someone that understood the NFL, that would not have been on my sheet of paper. I was looking for like a guy with good hair, which I also got, but it worked out.
Dan, as one of your producers that's helping you with this show, how are we talking about with good hair? How are we talking about love right now when Vrabel got fired? Eberflus is not getting fired, even though they got rid of Getsy. They got a number 1 pick. They got a number 9 pick. They can trade it. They can do better. Ben Johnson's in the division. They can take him out. Belichick might be available. Yeah. Like, what are we doing talking about love with all this
coaching
stuff?
Carousel. Let's go.
Tony, it's all about relationships. Tony,
but Eberflus needs to go.
Okay. Why did Mike Vrabel get fired? Because of bad communication. Why did you probably have a breakup in your life? Bad communication.
That's true.
Why did things probably go a little sour with ESPN boys? Bad communication, right? It's always at the center of relationships. And that's why we're harping on this right now, because that's the problem with a lot of these organizations, ownership that have these visions, that buy into the identity of what these head coaches want. And then somewhere along the way, there's disconnect, there's feelings hurt, there's egos involved. And that vision that they had on day one at the press conference, and everyone's wearing the team colors and hugging and kissing and clapping, standing up, introducing each other's families to each other's families. In the end, something happens, the wear and tear of it. And I think in Tennessee, Tony, that was what happened. I think the Titans were worn out by Mike Vrabel. the things that they love about him, the reasons why they've had so much success over the years, I believe are also the same reasons that got him fired.
Does he go to Ohio State or does he go to the Patriots?
My quads!
Go to break.
Oh, my quad.
Dianna, what do you think? Rabel, does he go to Ohio State or the Patriots?
No, I'm kidding. No, he's not going to Ohio State.
Really?
He's either going to have his pick here at one of these jobs or choose to take a year off. I can tell you, Stu.
Yes.
There are teams out there that have a coach in place.
Right.
They've already told everybody, like, this is our guy, and maybe some of these teams are still playing, maybe they're not, who had conversations yesterday after Mike Vrabel was fired about moving on from their current head coach.
Wow.
I mean, he's going to be super coveted, right?
Yes.
Kill the music, please.
I'm exhausted.
Can you tell us whether Antonio Pierce is the right answer with the Raiders? It seems like something the Raiders would do. Get someone to go 5-4 and fall in love with him and say this is the answer because he's in-house and we don't want to spend a whole bunch of money on somebody else.
Yeah, I actually think it's the opposite. I think their approach is more, we need a superstar here. And he's doing all the right things. He's got the locker room support. He's got the right people around him. He's got advisors. He's done every single thing he can possibly do to get this job. And I do believe he has the inside track. But Mark Davis wants a star in Vegas. I don't necessarily believe Antonio Pierce is, we would all put him in a category of star. And they are definitely doing their homework on some of these available coaches, one of them being Jim Harbaugh.
Our timing has been slightly off today. I will say that the last segment, yes, with Amin was supposed to end and was 5 seconds from ending. It would have been comedically perfect with Amin trying to light the cigarette and Stugotz was going to throw a bottle of water in his face to put it out, but he missed it by 5 seconds. And right now, Dianna, we're wondering if you can hear that carousel music or if you're confused by the fact that while you talk to us, we're pretending to be on a carousel with our coaching carousel music. Were you confused or can you hear the music?
I can hear the music.
Good.
I'm not confused. I was in on the joke. The carousel is moving at a nice speed here.
Yours is broken.
Wait, you weren't doing it with us, and Stugotz was doing it in the laziest possible way.
Way to mansplain the joke, Dan.
I just thought she couldn't hear it.
Explaining the humor of this show. I'm more of a lazy river kind of gal rather than a carousel.
Atta girl.
Yeah.
Let the river take you where it takes you. I mean,
I used that in a conversation yesterday with someone in describing an organization. And when Stugotz's brain, it starts to seep into mine, I realize that my career is not headed to the galaxy of success. In fact, I have concerns. And it happens often, actually.
you said that to Vrabel, huh?
She's the senior NFL cider.
I said, Frames, come join the lazy river.
She's the senior NFL insider for The Athletic. Thank you, Dianna. Always nice seeing you.
Appreciate you guys. Love you.
Love you. Thank you.
Season's greetings, everybody. It is Mike Ryan here to talk to you about Miller Lite, but also here to talk to you about this festive season and how Miller time can make holiday time even better. I love this winter weather. It's a great excuse to go outside and toast some wonderful memories with some friends. Why don't you do that with an ice-cold Miller Lite in your hand? And in some parts of the country, you don't need a koozie. It just stays cold out there. How wonderful is that? Take a sip, my friends. Look around. Reflect on your year. You made a lot of good calls, and no call better than having this Miller Lite right now. A beer that is brewed for taste. You know it's triple hops brewed? They could have stopped brewing it twice with hops, but they didn't. They went that extra mile, and they brewed it with hops 3 times. The original light beer since 1975, and still the best one. I'm talking about Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/stand to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Dan Le Batard.
I mean, they used to call me Chris Karaoke.
Stugotz.
Karaoke.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117
That back row is bringing it today.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Stugotz, I had one of my favorite things that happens around here happen yesterday on the show because of how much I delighted in the following. I'm talking about Jimmy Kimmel's stand-up monologue. I say the shocking thing of it made me side with Aaron Rodgers, when I think anyone who's listening to this show knows that I'm not siding with Aaron Rodgers on anything he's saying. But I was dressed as the stereotyped racist caricature that appeared in 21 Savage's music video that isn't actually a movie or a movie trailer. What are you shaking your head about?
Dude, if anyone should be angry about stereotype racist caricature, it's Bomani, not you.
I know
sirs.
that was the joke.
Oh,
okay. Wait a minute. Let me see if I can find this here because I thought, I really thought that you
sending him to Kansas City.
That you understood. In fact, you can go to Kansas City. Go to Kansas City.
What? It's gonna be cold over there, Amin.
I earned that one.
I mean, you did.
You don't get the show.
Yes, of course, Bomani's the one who should complain there.
You know how like in the NBA when someone that does like a ridiculously obvious foul and then they raise their hand.
Yes, I mean you deserve that.
You're acknowledging
like
it.
that was the whole
good.
joke.
Okay.
That's what I was
setting it up.
But and that wasn't even the joke I was actually enjoying the most here.
I mean,
the joke that I was enjoying the most here is the sheer number of people outside our audience who thought it was a burn to say, look at this guy with his dyed eyebrows. look at how and I looked obviously ridiculous. I had Groucho Marx eyebrows. It was absurd, but I really enjoyed the indignance in what was a political argument, and you saw people taking sides, and they already had their opinions before it started. And then the ones who were against me, who don't know anything about me, were yes, Tony, that's the proper response. That's how I spent my day yesterday, laughing at the people who thought they were laughing at me because they thought those were my real eyebrows.
I could see somebody on Twitter not knowing who you are and be like, who does this guy think he's fooling here? Hold on a second. Those eyebrows. Wait a second.
It was such a delight, though, to just see around serious subject matter, people think they were really getting me with, look at how shitty this dude's dye job is.
Hold it up with his mustache, too. Wait a second.
And incidentally, Stugotz, because there were a lot of people who were super indignant about what has happened to Jimmy Kimmel is no laughing matter. And I would simply say to you, yes, being accused of pedophilia, not a laughing matter. But you're a stand-up comic, and you got to figure that stuff out in difficult times. The stand-up comics on late-night television decided to get into politics, and here's what it looks like. It's uncomfortable, and some of the funny is going to get knocked out by vetted lawyers.
All of the funny.
Yes. Most to all of the funny is going to get knocked out if you're fearing being sued. That's how that tends to happen. I'm really surprised. Billy, you're surprised that Amin didn't get that joke, right? Like, how is that possible that Amin didn't understand that was the whole joke I was doing?
Dry month, Dan.
Yeah, dry January, Dan. And he doesn't know what caffeine is.
Yeah.
He's got energy today, though.
Too much, right?
Yes, way too much.
You know.
It's too much. He hasn't been here in 3 weeks, and he came in aggressively hot.
I like it. I think we should give him the entire next segment. Just do whatever the hell he wants.
Wow. Oh, that's a terrible
That
idea.
is, yeah. Let's go back to smoking.
You thought lighting a cigarette was bad judgment as executive producer?
Well, I was anti that, if you remember.
You said, what was the payoff? Do you realize what the payoff would have been if the last thing in that segment was Amin not knowing that Stugotz was preparing a water bottle under the table to simply throw in his face as he lit the cigarette? And we couldn't get the timing right. Do you know how visually funny that would have been?
Would have ruined a lot of equipment.
Yes, but worth it.
Also, Dan's paying for the equipment, so if he thinks that it's a good idea to ruin it, I mean...
I got to tell you, a segment of Amin just bouncing around might be funny. I mean, in Chris's defense, it could be funny. I mean,
all right, you know what?
No.
You want to do it solo or you want it with everybody? Because
No, we all got to be here.
right. Solo?
Like a drive time host?
I have had Amin a couple of times. You guys have noticed this. Perhaps maybe you haven't. Maybe you have not noticed this. The only times I've seen Amin choke around here is when he is isolated with the ball and has 90 seconds to complete something, and then he chokes because it's too much. He wanted just to play with his teammates, and he wanted to throw the ball around the court. And he was LeBron at the end of the finals, the last 5 minutes against Dirk Nowitzki, where he was just passing the ball as fast as he could instead of
Well, J.J. Barea was on it.
Taking a shot, right.
System player, Dano.
There are a number of things I want to talk to you about. And one of them that you thought that we didn't do enough because you listen to the show when you're not here. You were of the opinion that we did not do enough with Billy's suggestion that he wanted a park named after him, not a library. What were some of the other things you didn't want named after you, Billy?
Street.
I didn't want a street or an expressway. Just a park. I don't think a park is too much to ask.
It's horrible. I get where you're at.
It's horrible to ask.
No,
for a park?
park is a horrible decision.
Oh,
because what you said is absolutely right. Billy's right. You don't want to be named after something that can have a negative connotation in people's minds.
Yeah,
and an expressway like the Shula, it's always backed up with traffic. It's always construction. People hate it, and they say, "I hate the Shula," and it's like, "But I'm Don Shula. How could you hate me?" That's how he probably felt, right?
Yeah.
So now. But the park is not good, Billy, because you know what happens at parks?
What?
Drugs.
Oh.
Gangs meet.
Really?
MacArthur Park in Los Angeles. Remember that episode?
But what
of
if we
Fresh
put a
Prince?
sign in the park that says "No drugs, no gangs"?
Yeah, they've tried that.
Don't listen, Billy. Yeah.
They've tried
Signs,
that.
yes, signs will stop.
There's
gangs
one
and
already that
drug
says
use.
"No
Yes.
dogs." So if we say "No drugs,"
You're kind of parked though, I mean.
no gangs, then I think we figured it out.
A no dog park is funny.
There's actually this corner that's like on it's like 107th and Flagler, and I don't understand why the sign was made. Who in government approved the sign? Why does they put it there? But it said, like, the sign literally, it's by an intersection, just says no illegal drugs can be done in this area. And it's like, well, I don't think illegal drugs
Damn it.
can
I was
be
gonna.
done in any area. I don't think the sign seems unnecessary at this spot. Why did they make this?
Not in Miami.
The visual of
Not on
one
Flagler.
person just like getting ready to light up. And then
It
it's
just,
like,
but
oh,
no,
it's
but
gonna
it's
be
yeah.
a
There's
long
a
day
sign.
I've had.
But there's
And
a
then they look at
sign.
the
No,
sign
that's
and
why
they're like,
I'm saying.
I've got a visual of the guy running out of the building. Hey, you can't do this here. Go up a couple of blocks.
Just points at the sign. It's like,
Go up a couple of blocks. You're fine up there. But here, no, absolutely not.
Do you have preferences on what you'd have named after you?
I have top 5 things.
Oh, you've
I'd
got
like
5
to
of them.
Wow.
Amazing.
5 of them. Yes.
with Billy's stipulation in mind.
Any OLIs or go
Nope.
right to it?
Right
Just
to it.
Straight 5.
Number 5.
Basketball court. Not the arena, just the court. Don't want the building named after me, just the court.
No drugs or dogs allowed.
like the summit.
Like what do they call it?
Celtics court, Red Auerbach.
Yeah, Red Auerbach court.
Like Rucker Park.
No, not an outdoor court.
Coach K court.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Coach K court at
Right.
Camden Indoor.
Right.
Like Arrowhead Field is actually called something else.
Hunt isn't it called like Lamar
Something
Hunt,
like
something
that,
whatever.
yeah.
But like that's the idea. It's like don't name the building after me. That can invite too many things. But the court is fine.
like this could be the Dan Lebitard studio
Yep.
inside of Meadowlark Media.
exactly. Yep. Number 4, a street that is closed off to traffic,
Walkable street.
Yeah.
like Bourbon Street.
Lincoln Road.
Lincoln
Hassan
Road.
Ocean
Yep.
Drive.
Yep, all the ones where you just walk and you go from bar to restaurant to little shopping, but no cars, no, just everyone's on foot traffic.
But could crimes not be committed on said walking street?
Now here's the math.
If there's a sign.
Here's the science. 82% of street crimes happen on streets that do have car traffic.
Wow.
So
That's science.
Made up
That's
tapper
science.
again.
yeah.
Well, it's math, and we are running up against the break again, and
No, we're
his
not.
timing is going
No,
to be
we've
Got
bad.
plenty of time. What are we
Yeah.
talking about? Number 3, an airport terminal.
Never. That's terrible.
Not the airport. Not the airport.
Just
the
a terminal.
Just a terminal.
Yep.
Great example. LAX. Terrible airport. Tom Bradley Terminal. You never heard anyone say anything bad about that? Why? The terminal.
I also don't think, though, that a terminal is much of an honor.
No, it's not.
What?
Can you
No, it
choose the
is.
destination?
terminal?
Hey, I'm flying out of LAX. What, Terminal 4? No, Bradley.
It's another word for you're about to die.
No.
It's an illness.
Terminal means,
it's an adjective before an illness.
Usually those people are dead anyway.
No,
though,
but
so.
he was pretty clear on he wanted a terminal at an airport.
Correct.
Airport terminal.
He
Not
was,
an illness.
But he was clear about it, but I don't feel like any of us have positive feelings about a terminal, any terminal at any airport. Do any of us?
The new LaGuardia terminal is great, by the way.
I actually do, yeah. At West Palm Beach, Terminal A is fantastic.
Terminal
Chick-fil-A, I believe.
Yep.
Starbucks.
The Wiener terminal.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Think about it. The Amin terminal has the Chick-fil-A in it. That people like that.
Put it on the poll, please, at Batard Show. Do you have positive feelings about an airport terminal?
Would an illness be named after you be an honor?
No.
Really?
No. Ask Lou Gehrig.
Most of them are just named A.
Number
and B.
2, we have 20 seconds
Number 2,
left.
an award of any sort. The Amino has
Any kind of award?
any award, lifetime achievement, whatever.
Razzie.
What about a Razzie? A Razzie would be, well...
What about for best dog?
Sinful.
No, not that
Got me
one.
there.
So not any award.
You bleeped up the timing again. You screwed up the timing again. Again, you screwed it up.
Rance Mullenix, Tom Candiati, Juan Guzman, Tom Henke, Pat Henken, Dave Steeb, Todd Stottlemyre, Ed Sprague, Derek Bell, Candy Maldonado, Corey Snyder.
I have to get to Billy making fun of Tony about Tony's obsession with World War II all of a sudden. But, Amin, can you please give us the number one thing that you would love to have your name on?
This one was a no-brainer. Holiday. Everybody loves a day off. Martin Luther King Day, love it. Even the racists love Martin Luther King Day. You know why? Because it's a day off.
Except for Mississippi.
I feel like you left off the coolest thing,
What's
and
that?
Dan has that. An animal.
No, because what if the animal breaks out of the zoo and like causes havoc and
Then it'd be a hilarious news story. I mean, it wouldn't be hilarious if it's causing havoc, but it would just be funny to see the headline: Dan Le Batard running through Manhattan.
Well, that is why Disney
Killing
wouldn't allow a hippo to be named after me. They were worried about what they thought was an eventuality, which is Dan Le Batard stampedes over 3 children to death.
ask my man Ron McGill, what's the animal that causes the most deaths? That's not like a mosquito or whatever, actual
it's
mammal?
a hippo.
It's the hippos.
The guy with the eyebrows stampeded people?
Generally,
I knew there was something up with that guy.
Disney's Dan Le Batard trampled 3 children in zoo, leaving 2 paralyzed and 1 dead, was why they quietly wrote a $10,000 check to Ron McGill and didn't allow the hippo to be named after me. Let's get to World War II.
Finally. It's been 80 years, Dan. I've been waiting.
This is the segment that I've asked for years, where we do things as if they're happening right now.
Billy, can you give us some context before Tony gets started? Because Mike Ryan has been talking obsessively about Roosevelt at the exact same time that Tony is talking about World War II. And it's just strange to hear in here.
Well, it's also strange because everybody here went to school where you learned about these things, but Tony's just discovering World War II, and while he was watching it, he's finally seen the end. I don't know if he's going to give spoilers.
I wonder who won.
We won back-to-back champs, baby.
I'm supposed to say spoiler alert. So, but prior to that, he would tell us, he's like, I don't want any spoilers, because people would like go up to me, and he's like, don't tell me. It's like, Tony, everybody knows what happens.
Yes,
here.
we know what happened, but there's a new show on Netflix called World War II in Color Front Lines, which it takes you to different positions from different perspectives. So you see like a Soviet perspective, you see a Nazi perspective, you see Polish perspectives, U.S. perspective, Japanese perspective. So it takes you all these different places.
Please don't both sides World War II.
No.
No.
I'm just giving you context of the show. I want to say out front, Hitler Terrible guy. Bad guy.
There you go.
Thank you.
Bad guy.
Now you've
Glad you said it, Tony.
Terrible guy. Okay.
Can we get a lower third there?
Hitler.
It says Hitler.
Quote,
Bad guy.
Hitler.
Bad
Terrible guy.
Bad guy. Terrible guy.
Terrible guy.
No qualifiers. No
Nothing.
dilutions.
Just awful.
Not he built good highways. None of that shit. None of that. None of
Nothing.
that Marge shot shit. None of it.
Nothing. But
Much.
The butt has
No.
me, the butt
No, no.
has me concerned.
no, what I was going to say, but in school.
No but.
No but.
just-
There is
no
no
transitioning.
but.
I'm transitioning.
That's fine.
Don't
I'm
transition
transitioning.
with butt.
Transition
Lose the butt.
without the butt.
Turn his food
That's
talking
a
about
butt.
cooking.
And-
Also-
Gonna haunt you
and-
forever.
Also-
And yes, also much
Also,
better
and
there.
plus, in school, they kind of give you the stuff, but when you see it on a book and a piece of paper and you're reading, you're like, I mean, okay, whatever. Like, sure. Did you know that 60 million people died in World War II? 60 million people and 2 million in the Battle of Stalingrad? Really? Yeah.
Norm,
I did not know it was that many.
People have to. They have to look up. They have to look up Norm Macdonald's bit on Germany and just the idea of what your arrogance has to be to twice think. You know what? I want to go to a war.
Like, we got this.
Against the world. Like you against the world.
To be honest, Dan,
Again.
they were kicking ass all over the place until everybody started coming together and being like, hey, this is kind of crazy. What are we doing here? It got America and the Soviet Union to be like, all right, guys, I know we hate each other, but we got to figure something out. This guy's out of his mind. We got to do something. But the important part, there's a lot of important parts of World War II, but man, you see like in color stuff that they've only shown you on TV in
Is
black
it
and
the
white.
color that has you?
The color got me a little bit.
Okay.
The color got me a little
This
bit.
has been done before. This is revolutionary sort of film work.
That was
where,
another war.
Where they
We don't have video of that one, Dan. I can't go
won?
back. We did.
Oh, wow. 3-0.
We won because, as Donald Trump said, they didn't have any airports. They couldn't fly.
Again, that's a true statement. I don't know what to tell you. The cool thing is seeing all the things that it took to actually win the war. Like America hadn't to get involved, and like you see the bravery of people that we like think of. Oh yeah, bravery for sure. But it's like they show you like video of Normandy Beach and like bullets flying past people and people getting blown up, and you're like, holy shit! I could not do this if it was right now.
Were you not aware that war required
So
bravery?
No. It requires bravery, but some that we haven't.
When you
really...
see it,
It's a
instead
different
of
thing
reading
seeing it in color.
Tony,
Right, yeah.
in the
No,
words
video.
of Vince Vaughn in The Breakup, Band of Brothers.
That's
you should
right.
watch it sometime.
Well, touche. I'm not there yet.
Saving Private Ryan
little
also.
guys with the big hearts.
Dan, World War II though, I'm glad to say I saw it through. We won. Back-to-back champs, America #1 Jack. I told you that though. You guys knew that from me when I said Europe. Please get over yourself. I had the European top 5. A lot of stuff to do there is backwards, but we did band together with the Brits, the Soviets, all these people, and made it happen, baby.
Okay.
Very excited about it.
Made it
We
happen.
get a ring
baby.
or what happened?
What is the Twitter account, Chris, that you have of all late news? The Slow Report.
Yeah, the Slow Report.
The Slow
Ooh, I should report.
You should report.
Yeah, that we won.
That
All right,
we
VE
kicked
Day,
ass-
baby.
Showtime
VE
voice.
Day.
Kicked ass
Breaking.
in World War II.
Took names too.
Sources.
We've only
How are you
lost.
going to phrase this?
World War II, we won. Now, I'll figure
That's
it
it.
out.
There it is right there.
You will figure it out. The Slow Report, a very popular Twitter account that slowly gets to things, and I think has largely been disbanded because Chris has other things to do.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Did the
lazy.
color seem real? Like when they go back and they add color to things,
That's
it's
the thing,
kind of
it's
like
tough.
it's up to their interpretation. Right?
It
A
is
lot
like,
of it.
how do we know what color the German army was versus the Soviet army?
Well,
They were
because
white.
people were,
No, I know.
No, like just
Green or
because,
brown.
okay, let's just. You know that just because the camera wasn't in color, people weren't walking around like in shades
Without
of gray,
color,
right?
yes, I get that.
Okay,
but what I'm saying is, how did they get the exact shade? And then when people moved, they did it. So there was one part where the Germans were going through Stalingrad and taking blowtorches and like blowtorching houses and farms and stuff. So you see the fire and you're like, fire. I don't
Too red?
know. What yeah, it was like the
Was too
color's off
red?
on that fire. I don't know if I like that.
It's like Wizard of Oz. You ever watched?
Yes.
Like it's like okay, a little too
A
rosy.
little
on
too
the
much.
cheeks.
Also, that's how I knew how they did a decent job, but not a great job. Dan, people's teeth white, not happening.
No chance.
No, but
No
you're in a
chance.
foxhole somewhere
In the
You do
40s?
not have white teeth.
Dude, they could have had an office job in the 40s. Their teeth were not white.
No white teeth whatsoever in World War II. I'm saying not one person had white teeth.
When did white teeth become a thing?
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Did everyone in the 40s have yellow teeth?
That should lead right to your dentist updates.
Thank you.
Oh, segue. That's what I'm talking about.
Come on,
there.
baby.
Professional.
Yeah, there you go. You're
and
just
Little
another
alley-oop
heater.
there.
An excellent segue transition by
Waiting all day.
Stugotz. Yes. So all of my life, I have gone to an old Cuban lady who it's just like a dentist office from another time. Even like the chairs are those old Cuban barbershop chairs.
That's what I was
like
thinking
I mean, she's an exceptional dentist, and everyone around her, it is like mom and pop care, where I have been legitimately amazed at how gentle she is and how my dentist experiences are not unpleasant. I don't go to the dentist dreading to go to the dentist. But recently, I went to a different dentist, and I realized that I've been doing dentistry in the Stone Age. Because there was a leg massage, there was Netflix on the roof on top
Mine
of
has
me.
that. I love
You
that.
went to the rich dentist.
That's something else.
There was not.
It's a Ritz.
There was something that was holding my mouth open so that I didn't have to think about
The plastic thing was like,
Yeah, and it was all very comfortable, and I simply and modern, and I couldn't believe it. I was legitimately shocked that it felt like spa services.
Were you introduced to the concept of suction as opposed to you had to spit in a bowl?
They're
No,
like, sir, close your mouth.
Wait till you hear about anesthesia.
You get a lollipop? I mean,
do they still do that
No,
at the
that's-
dentist?
at the old school
That's
dentist, they
20
do.
CVs.
At your
Smart
old
kids
dentist
do.
that you're
Yeah.
cheating on,
The
that's
smart
what they
ones
have,
do, yeah.
lollipops. Yeah.
That's 20
You
CB.
did cheat on. Did you tell her, Dan, that you weren't going to go anymore?
Did she die?
Oh,
You
you
just
gotta
stopped
tell her.
going?
No, I had something happen.
He paid someone else to go for him.
The guy from the video.
It was Danny.
It was mine.
Stunt Danny. I sent in Stunt Danny. It's one of my favorite things that we've done around here. Just that music video. Get that video so that people can be reintroduced if they haven't seen the music video that we did to Stunt Danny, and just cut it up in the spot, because it is one of the funniest things that we have done with video. But yes, is the answer to your question. I sent Stunt Danny to my other dentist to fool her so that she wouldn't feel betrayed, paid for all the services so that I could avoid betraying my longtime dentist, and I will never return.
Lost business.
You've seen the other side.
Well, I mean, Stugotz, if I
You're
tell
shorter
you,
than you used to be.
Stugotz, if I tell you, because I know you dread the dentist.
I hate it,
You're
yeah.
scared of the
yeah.
dentist, as I assume most people are.
I got a guy for you, Dr. Batard in Phoenix, in Scottsdale.
Oh, wow.
Dr. B,
Long trip.
the best.
Okay.
Amin is unsurprised by what I am saying. You have been dealing with luxurious dentistry all of your life.
Because, well, not all my life. When I first started working for the Suns, that was the first time I had dental insurance. So the first thing I did was I went to the team dentist, Dr. B, shout out Dr. Badalato,
You already did that.
and he did it again.
My dentist is also Dr. B. Shout out to Dr. B.
Wow,
Yeah, there
shout
you
out
go.
to Dr. B.
All the
yeah.
Dr.
So is
Bs.
mine, Dr. Bennett.
Oh, I
Is
had
he
a Dr.
dentist?
Bennett. Not my dentist, though.
Damn.
Wanted to see me on Zoom. I
Mine
said,
is
no,
Dr.
thank you.
Barbag. How about that?
Dr. B.
Dr. who?
Barbag.
Oh, I thought
Yes.
you said ball bag.
Dr.
I was
B.
like, oh,
No.
be a
Yeah,
terrible dentist.
Dr. Ballbag.
Be a
was the
terrible
name of the
name.
dentist.
Different doctor. It's a different doctor.
Not the dentist.
The doctor's name. Yeah.
God for me.
That's your proctologist.
Little honker, huh?
Dr. Ballbag and John House, two human names.
Dr. Bobrovsky.
Here, put this
We
in
all
your
have
mouth.
B doctors. There's Danny. Here we go. All right. Hit it, guys.
Do you guys do sedation dentistry?
No.
Me neither.
Do people do that?
Yeah, they get knocked out and have all the dental work done. They wake up and it's all done.
Nah, man.
Like Dak when he had his tattoo. He did sedation tattoo where he was like out for like
Yeah.
8 hours. He did an
That's
entire
a
leg
crazy
sleeve.
amount of
And then-
trust.
They had like 17 people working on him.
We started joking about it, and everyone's like, "That's tattoos of his brother who just passed." I'm like, guys, we're not making a joke about the tattoo. Making a joke about being passed out to get a tattoo.
I would assume, Billy, that some people fear the dentist so much that when they hear I can be knocked out the entire time, they would absolutely welcome that with trust. Dr. Ballback.
I was like, not a Dr. Ballbags.